Well, hello and welcome to a very, very special seminar today to celebrate this wonderful day that we have today, the 8th of March, 2022, International Women's Day. So I'm going to sit here and relax and hope that some of you can join me, because it is a wonderful day to celebrate being a woman. It's a wonderful day to celebrate our strengths, our achievements, our friendships, our network, and our failures. So I will hang on until somebody is there. Please come in, tell me who's there. Have to know who's there today, have to know where you are, what country you're in, have to know if you're doing something today. It is such a special day that I just want to share it with you, and I want you to share your day with me as well. Now, I've had a great start to the day. Earlier today, I'm in Donegal in Letterkenny, and I popped down to Castle Grove Hotel, where there was a very special Donegal Leo celebration of women for International Women's Day, and the keynote speaker was Sonia Lennon, who needs no introduction to any of you, an amazing champion of women. And I was thrilled to get down, because I actually chatted to her when she was driving here yesterday, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get there or not, but I did get up, and you know what, I heard her speech, and I heard her speak, and I heard her motivate the women that was there, and honestly I left empowered and charged and just so happy to have been there with all those amazing women who were honest. She asked some honest questions, people gave honest answers, including myself, and I'll share a little bit of that with you. But for the moment, I'm just thrilled to bits to be here, and let's celebrate this awesome day and celebrate being a woman in 2022, because God knows it's been such a challenging time. We have come through 2 years of COVID, and we are heading into uncertainty as well with the war in Ukraine, and we just need to be as strong and as focused and as powerful, and together as women we need to be as powerful and as strong as we can possibly be. Lorraine is there, Lorraine Bradley. She's saying hi Anne up in Burt in Donegal, where I'm sure it's wild and windswept today. There's not much sunshine here, but look, it doesn't matter. We will make our own sunshine. So there are some of you there. I'm going to hang on for a few minutes. I'll give it 2 or 3 minutes just to let people get in. And this is actually going out into, it's been streamed live onto YouTube, and it's going live out onto the Room Junkie interior design group, the Sharing the Secrets group, and it's also going into the Finding Your Fabulous group. So there's lots of places where you can watch this, and of course there will be a replay for anybody who misses it. Because what I wanted to do, Kathy McDaniel is saying Happy International Women's Day. Kathy, where are you? Tell me where you are, because I don't know, and I just want to know where everybody is. But today what I want to share with you for International Women's Day is something that has quite honestly transformed my life, and I don't say that glibly, I mean this most sincerely, because I want to bring you back a couple of years to a place when I wasn't happy. My confidence had taken a battering. I was feeling very, Nuala's in Sligo, hello Nuala, sending you big loves and hugs. But a couple of years ago, I was in a very bad place. I was very down on myself. I was definitely not confident. My self-esteem had taken a battering for all sorts of reasons, and none, probably. And the biggest reason was probably the things that I was telling myself in my own head, the lies that I was telling myself, and all the self-limiting beliefs that I had that were definitely dragging me to the floor. Mary Jeffries is in Cork, and she's saying Happy International Women's Day as well, and the same to you, Mary. But I was in a really, really bad place, and I knew that I needed to do something. Because naturally I'm quite an upbeat person. I would naturally and normally have quite high energy, and I needed to bring that back. For myself, for my family. Maureen McGarvey is there, and Margaret O'Neill. Great to see you, and it's great to see you both as well. So, how did Anne get herself to this place where she was desperately stuck, desperately unhappy? I don't know that I was suffering from depression, but I was close to it. I was certainly in a black, dark spot, and I couldn't seem to get out of it. So, there are things that I started to do that helped me enormously, that actually completely transformed my life. And I'm not going to get a chance to go into all of this in 1 hour, but I'll certainly do my best. And the very first thing that I did was I started to practice gratitude mindfully. first thing in the morning and last thing at night, when your brain is actually open to suggestion and open to feeling grateful, because something amazing happens when you are grateful. But before I even get to that, what I want to do is, first of all, I'm going to tell you what I do first thing in the morning. And I really believe this changes my day for the better because of what I do. So before I wake up, when I wake up and I'm lying in bed, first thing I do is I say, right, Anne, what are 10 things that you're grateful for today? And I will list them out on my fingers. And you know, the crazy thing is, I never stop at 10. I always seem to find 20, or maybe even a little bit more than that, but I will always find 20. My goal is to have 10, I find 20. Okay, so I've done that. So before I even get out of bed, I'm feeling positive because there are 10-20 things that I'm really, really grateful and happy for to have in my life. And these are not made up things. These are things that I genuinely have in my life, okay? And these could be things from a nice warm comfy bed to the love of my boys to whatever. But things that I'm genuinely great, my health, my energy, you know, my project for the day, my clients, whatever. These are things I'm genuinely grateful for. 10 things, usually find 20. Then I'll get up, and regardless of whether it's snowing or the sun is shining outside, I will open my window and I will let the fresh air come into the room, which is good. But I also make sure that I'll take off my glasses if I'm wearing them, and I'll open the window because I don't want any glass refracting what happens. But I look at the light. And it doesn't matter if it's winter light or summer light, there will be light there. And I let that light come into the back of my eye. And that triggers reticulation, activates that in my brain so that my circadian rhythm is started by doing that. So in 8 hours time, my body will start to wind down a little bit and it will help me set up for a better night's sleep. So I do that, okay? Next thing I do is I make my bed. Every single morning, without fail, I will make my bed. And I don't just pull up the sheets, I make my bed perfectly. I make it like a hotel bed. I straighten out all the sheets, I fluff the pillows, I put the cushions back, I put the throw on the bed. I have a perfect bed before I leave the room. So if you think about that, this all takes a couple of minutes, because trust me, Anne's a lazy girl. I won't do it if it requires a huge amount of effort. So between setting my gratitude intentions in bed to getting the light in and getting the fresh air into my room, possibly having a drink of water at the same time, and making my bed, when I leave the room, I have accomplished something positive in my day before I even get up the stairs. And that's powerful. And that's one thing that I attribute to my day starting well. But the biggest thing that I attribute to how I'm feeling and the things that I'm able to do and the things that seem to somehow just miraculously appear on my lap, even though they don't really. I suppose I work towards them, but I certainly call them in. And the biggest thing that I do that has changed my life is my journaling. I have 3 journals. I only realised that today and I've done no prep for this seminar whatsoever. There are no notes. This is from my heart. I want to send it from my heart to your heart, because this works for me. And you know what? It has worked for some other people as well. So it's not just me. This definitely works. But there's no point in you listening to me telling you what to do. You absolutely must do it yourself. You have to do it, and then you'll get the results. So I have 3 journals. Now, my big journal is this one here. And I like to have a journal with a hard copy, a fairly rigid copy. I like to have this size, an A5 size, so that I can put it into my handbag. Or if I'm going away, like last week when I went away for those couple of days in the spa break, my journal came with me and I journaled every single morning. So I have a format for journaling there, and I do go through that in that sort of a regimented way every single morning. And that takes me about 10 minutes. If I don't have time to do that, but I make a big effort to do it, and I prefer to do it in the morning. And the crazy thing is that if I don't journal, Neil and my boys will know, and they might come to me quietly and say, "You've stopped journaling, haven't you?" They know, because my attitude changes, my energy changes, everything changes. I didn't journal yesterday morning, and I had a very unproductive day. I was so unmotivated. Although, believe it or not, I came in here at 3 o'clock, did a very quick little live, and then went out for a walk and got a bit of fresh air, because you all told me to do that. And you know what? That changed things. And I got more done yesterday afternoon and had a brilliant meeting with an architect after that, because my mindset had changed completely. But now these are my mini journals. This one here is actually a lovely one. It's got a lovely velvet cover with gold, or almost like coppery gold writing. And I picked it up in Mr. Price. Is it Mr. Price? One of those pound shop places, because that's where I go to get my pens. There's a pen that I love, and I urge you to write, to physically write, and to give your journal respect. So don't race your writing. Take your time and write as well as you can. And there are pens that I buy there. I buy them in dozens, because I like, it's not that they're expensive pens, but I like the way they write. I like the way they fit in my hand, and it's very comfortable to do that. So make sure you have a lovely book, the hard cover, and a pen that you like to write with. Now this is easy, because this little book gives you 3 prompts, and it's 3 things I'm grateful for today, and you date it. So if you don't have time, you could do that, and you will always find 3 things that you're grateful for today. And believe it or not, oftentimes I will do that book in the evening time. Even I have it on my locker, and I might do it before I go to bed. And now this is a little gem here. This is a 5-minute gratitude journal that one of the girls in Finding Your Fabulous bought me for Christmas. And I love this little one, because over Christmas when I wasn't feeling well, or after Christmas when I had a blip and I started to feel sick again, I didn't have the mental energy to write pages and pages, so I used this book. And it has prompts. So let me tell you my prompts for today. I haven't actually filled it in, but you can see that I've written International Women's Day, and I've put the date on it, and later on I will actually fill this in. So there's a little prompt, and today's prompt is said, we can only be said to be alive in those moments where our heart are conscious of our treasures. So this goes back to our gratitude. When you're grateful for what you have, even though you might think you don't have an awful lot to be thankful for in your life, trust me, when you start really concentrating on what you're grateful for, you will be amazed at what you find in your life that's wonderful. And this definitely does something to your mindset. Every day I wake up and I'm thankful simply for being alive, and that is the truth. And I had a poignant lesson in this at the weekend. A dear friend of ours was buried on Sunday, somebody that I grew up with who had quite a quick death, and it made me acutely aware of how precious our life is, and how precious our health is, and how precious our mind is and our mindset, and how we must take time. It's not selfish to practice self-love. It is not selfish to be good to you. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you've got a family or people who are dependent on you, unless you look after yourself first, there's no way you can look after them. Absolutely not. So please go forward from today and start taking time out for yourself and doing things for you to help you to be stronger and better for yourself and for those that you love. Okay, so my little prompts today from the 5-minute journal are: the moment I felt most alive and fully myself this week. Might even have been during this live, I don't know. Ask me when I'm in bed tonight. A need that I have that is being met today. I think I needed a little bit of an encouragement, a little bit of a boost, and I certainly got that from Sonia Lennon today, when she was speaking at the event earlier this morning, and she asked us to think about something that we needed to let go, and she asked us to write it down, and then we put it into the fire and burned it, and she asked us to share it publicly, and I actually did share mine. And what I let go was perfectionism. I am a rascal. You know, everything has to be perfect, right down to the last little detail. And yes, I'm an interior designer. Yes, perfectionism is important. Yes, attention to detail is important. But attention to detail and perfectionism are not quite the same thing. So I think sometimes in my life I was using perfectionism as a crutch, and I was using it as an excuse for not getting things done. So the girls who are very close to me know that my mantra is done, not perfect. Get it done. It will be good enough. You are good enough. Just do it, and you'll surprise yourself with what you can achieve. And I know I've done this over and over and over, and sometimes it shocks me and surprises me. But there you go. So a need that I had that was met today was down at the Donegal Leo gathering for women in Castle Grove House, in the beautiful surroundings of Castle Grove House, and I realised that I need to let go of perfectionism because it is holding me back in so many ways. One reason my life is already great, I'll find loads of reasons for that, and someone whose presence makes my life sweeter, my husband and my boys, I guess, and all my dear friends and all of you guys. So get yourself something like the 5-minute gratitude journal. Get yourself one of those little journals that you will find in the pound shop or in Eason's or in wherever you go. This one is gorgeous and it was really cheap, and I'm very tactile, so I love the feel of it, and I love the little prompts. So a few of you are saying hello to me. I need to put on my glasses to see this. Let me see. Do you know what I'll do? I'll put the questions up on the screen. It's from Paula. And what is Paula asking me? Paula is saying, can you show me your pens? Do you know something, Paula? I knew you'd ask me that. And I don't have one here. And do you know why I don't have one here? It's because I'm actually out of them. They're a blue pen. They're a rollerball pen. I just find it really comfortable to write with. I love writing with it. And the ink just flows. If I would show you here in the gratitude journal from previous entries, you'll see it's quite, if you can see that, I don't know that I really want you to see what I've been writing because it could be quite personal, but it is quite a blue, distinctive, strong pen. So what I might like, you might not like, depends maybe whether you're right-handed, left-handed, whether you write heavy. I think I do write heavy and distinctly, and maybe you might write lightly, but just find something that's comfortable in your hand that you like writing with. That is a secret. Breeze Jinx is over in sunny Galway, and she says, thanks, Anne, this is very motivational for my soul. But you know what? Listen, I know, but it is, and it's so simple, because let me tell you, I am lazy, and I sometimes wonder if I have ADHD, because my attention span can be quite limited. I'm an all or nothing person. I can go at 150 miles an hour, but my other speed is stop. So I need to watch that very carefully. Marion Morris saying hello to me. Marion, you got a chance to come in. And Noreen Levis, that's brilliant. Marion is saying, great to hear this today. Well, I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely delighted because these are the things that work for me. And they're not difficult. But it's a bit like, I think, improving your mindset is a bit like improving your fitness. You have to do it every day. And then it becomes a pleasure. And then you can't do without it. Now, I'm addicted to my journaling, and I wouldn't think of starting the day, no matter, how, and I'm not a great morning person, believe it or not. I'm Mary McGinley, sounding so, not sure, sounding something. I saw you yesterday, Mary, driving along in your sports car. Roof was not down, but you had your glasses on. You looked amazing, and I meant to send you a text, and then I got an email through, which I will talk to you about, because I would love to help you out there if I can. Catherine Waldick is there, and Mary McGinley is saying, sounding so positive, Anne. Yeah, and this is not woo-woo positive. This is not pretend positivity, because let me tell you, for the girls in the Finding Your Fabulous group, after Christmas, I was not feeling well, because I didn't know that Margaret Moylan is saying very motivating, brilliant. But after Christmas, or in January, it was around the end of January, 18th of January, I know that for a fact, because that's the day I went to get my bloods checked. But I wasn't feeling well, and I did not go into the Finding Your Fabulous group because I couldn't fake positivity. You can't. But what you can do is create it. And you start small, you start with the baby steps, even if you just started with the morning ritual. The gratitude in the morning before you get out of bed, opening your window, letting the light into the retina at the back of your eye, and getting all that rhythm going for the day, and making your bed beautifully. There's actually a TED talk about, it was a US Army colonel, I think, and he also spoke to college graduates about the importance of making your bed and the impact that it has on the rest of your day. Okay? And if you don't believe me, try it. And if you don't believe me about the gratitude, please try it. And if you don't believe me about the journaling, I guarantee, give it a go. Some people take to it like a duck to water. Lorraine is here, and she was my best student. She was amazing. Kavina was another one, took to it like a duck to water. Others had to work at it, but everybody who did work at it achieved lots and lots and lots of amazing things in their life. And honestly, this happened, and for some of them, for Kavina, things happened so quickly, because it was like she had changed her mindset completely, and more importantly, and I'll get onto this in a minute, she had let go of limiting blocks as well that were holding her back. And actually today, when Sonia asked us about what we were letting go, I was fascinated by the response. Like most of these women, very successful women. There was one lady, and excuse me while I have a sip of water, one lady who said she has a big problem because she came from a working class background, and she feels that no matter what she's achieved in life, she comes back maybe to this little girl, this person in this environment. And our hearts went out to her, and everybody just wanted to give her a big hug, And then Sonia said, do you realise that this lady has just received 2 million in funding for her academic endeavours, and yet she was still having difficulty with something from her past. And I do believe that, no matter whether you grew up in the most loving, supportive environment, there are things from your past that you carry through with you. For me, I think there's lots of things. And I had a wonderful mother who was widowed very, very young in life and left with 2 babies, ran a factory with 2 little babies, was way before her time, an incredibly inspirational woman. I could get emotional thinking about Mum because she was before her time. She didn't realise how amazing she was. She just took it all in her stride. But she was always visionary. She was, her way of thinking, she challenged things. She was extremely strong. She wasn't afraid to voice her opinion. But I think because she had to do this on her own, she wanted me to meet the perfect man and become a wife and mother and not necessarily have a career. And this fascinates me, and I need to do even more work on this because I trained as a nurse and I loved being a nurse, and then I met Neil, fell madly in love, got married, went to Bermuda, lived the dream, got pregnant with Richard, came back home, had Jack. In the meantime, bought an old wreck of a house in Dublin that we had no money to do anything with, and that's when I discovered I had this talent maybe. My talent was interior design. It was making, a place look beautiful. But I was still a stay-at-home mum, which I loved. Moved back to Donegal, built the dream house, still a stay-at-home mum. Did decide to study interior design professionally, not because I wanted to have a career in interior design. I just wanted to do this for me because I just loved it. My God, I could do this all day long, every single day of my life. And I do, and I wanted to learn so much. I was like a sponge, and I got an incredibly high level distinction because I had the time and the effort to put into it, but I still didn't want to be a career woman. Never thought about it. And then one day I got a phone call asking me if I'd take part in RTE's show house, and I stupidly or smartly said yes. I'd never had a client before in my life. I'd never had a brief. I'd never had anything. And Marion, you'll laugh at this because you're a Sligo girl. My client, it was RTE show house, 2 identical houses, 2 interior designers, 6 days to turn a shell into a show house. That is no word of a lie. I walked in on a Monday morning to an absolute shell, and by Saturday evening the cleaners came in and we had an entire house assembled, and the public came in on Sunday to vote. But the builder was Shane Filan from Westlife. So because of Shane, there was tons of publicity and it was crazy. But it was never my intention, but I think it was my destiny. And I think by doing the interior design course, by putting the effort into it, getting a really high level qualification, it set all of this in motion for me. So I think sometimes we do things for ourselves and then something comes back that you're not expecting at all, that is the very best outcome in the world. That kind of jumped ahead of me there because I was talking about limiting beliefs, and we all have them. And today lots of the girls, there was one girl who's setting up a new business and she said, oh my God, the website is ready, I know I can do this, but imposter syndrome is just hitting me like a ton of bricks, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't do this, I'm not able to do this, why am I doing this? And that's because the lies, and they are lies, your brain doesn't know the difference between a lie and a truth. So if you keep telling yourself positive things about yourself all the time, guess what? Your brain actually will start to believe them. And one thing I'd love you to do is, another thing that I do is I have affirmations. I have some of them here actually, because I have a vision board that I look at every single day with the things that I want to call into my life on it. They're personal, they're business, they're everything. And then I've got affirmations too on another board, and I haven't changed these for a long time, but my affirmations are: everything will happen in the right way at the right time. My goals are a done deal. Money flows to me quickly and easily. I welcome abundance into my life with open arms. I release all blocks, and I know that good is coming to me now. I trust. I can and I will. Watch me. I surrender all. These are things that I say to myself almost every day. But if you say them out loud in front of the mirror, and this might sound like so daft, and you might be so uncomfortable in doing this, but there's something empowering about saying this out loud. I just said it out loud to you because I'm used to saying it. I release all blocks, and I know I deserve good now. And I really believe this when I'm saying it. So the crazy thing is then, This seeps into my psyche, and I believe that this is the truth. My brain believes that it's the truth. This goes out into the universe, and guess what? A lot of it comes back. Now, I'm going to be quite personal here, and I'm going to look at my vision board here. Now, I had perfection on this. I have a problem with this perfection business. Let's forget perfection for a while. I've written, let's focus on progress, because perfection does stunt your progress. Done, not perfect, without a doubt. That is what we all should be aiming for. And habits are the fuel for your freedom. If you start a habit of gratitude, if you start a habit of looking after yourself, if you start a habit of trying to rid yourself of limiting beliefs that are holding you back, if you get into the habit of saying no, one of the most empowering things that you can ever do for yourself. Okay, I have written here, I'm on the Jennifer Zamparelli show. I am on Virgin Media Morning AM. I wasn't yet, but I was. I have the Elaine show on here, and I was. I'm in RSVP magazine. I've dated it there. I'm in the RTE guide. I'm in it. All these things that I had written down, and I had no notion of how these things were going to happen. I am on News Talks, the home show with Sinead Ryan. I've been on that 3 or 4 times. All these things that I called in, that I wanted to have in my life, they happened. And they happened because I believed they would happen. And yes, you know what? Did I take action to make them happen? Did I get in touch with a producer and says, hi, I'm Anne up in Donegal. This is what I've done. This is what I can do. This is what I can do for you. And they've come back to me. So there are some questions here or some observations. So I am going to... D. Timothy saying, lovely top, Anne, great colours on you, happy International Women's Day. This is a Dunstores dress, and I deliberately wore a Dunstores dress today because I was going down to Castle Grove and I couldn't find Elena McCourtney that suited me, and I wanted to wear, because she told a wonderful story about a lady who sent her a message to say, after, I can't remember how many years in an unhappy marriage, she said, I've left that relationship. I've got a mortgage on my own, I'm free, but I'm happy. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life, but I've no money. And she said, at Christmas time, I asked my family to give me money for Christmas. That's what I wanted. And she said, I went to Dunnes Stores and I bought 2 Lennon McCourtney outfits that make me feel amazing. And she got in touch with Sonia to tell her that. So isn't that just amazing? So colour is good. So wear the colour, spray the good perfume, put on the lipstick, do whatever it is that makes you feel good, because life is short and we owe it to ourselves to make ourselves feel good. And Marina McLaughlin is there. Marina's another one of my fabulous, fabulous ladies, another Donegal lady. Mary Jeffrey says, hi Anne, loved your positive attitude affirmations. Good. And everybody's affirmations and everybody's, what is right for you and what you want to call into your life is totally different to what somebody else will want. And that's great, because we're all different. And thank God for that. Our life would be extremely boring. Now I'm going to go back. A few more people. Marion Morris says, I remember it well. That was RTE Showhouse. Well, do you know, it's hilarious. I actually lost a stone when I was doing that, and I wasn't very heavy then, but I think I went down to 8 stone or something because I was so stressed and so busy. And yet, even though I was stressed, I enjoyed every minute of it. But the incredible thing is that I believed I could do it, even though I'd never had a client in my life. I mean, there are many interior designers who wouldn't take on a challenge like that because the cameras are on you all the time. They're just dying for you to do something wrong and make a mistake or to break something. And I remember afterwards, Richard, my oldest son, asked me, he said, Mum, could you have done Showhouse if you hadn't done your course? And I remember saying to him, yes, I do believe I could have, but they wouldn't have asked me. They only asked people who had accredited design qualifications. But it was great. I'd love to do it again. Marion is saying, my husband makes his bed first thing every morning. He's retired and does the housework too. I hope that's allowed, Anne. Absolutely. Why not? And enjoy. You know what? If my husband was doing the housework every day, I would give thanks every morning. Neil does a lot of cooking, even though I love to cook, but he loves to cook as well. But I would give thanks and be grateful that he's doing the housework for you, because that's freeing up your energy, and that's a wonderful gift. Is there anybody else here who's I've missed? Anne Healy's saying, Anne is Anne from Biddy's Good Luck Horses. She said, you're so right, don't know about the making the bed, but the gratitude, yes, absolutely. And if you've never tried it, and I'll be honest, God, I'd be embarrassed to say that I got to almost 60, I'd say, before I even realised how important it is to, and I remember years ago I bought a course on how to practice journaling. I never even opened that course until I started doing my self-intro. Then, of course, I read everything that I can about journaling now. Now, there are more comments here, so let me see what they are. Colleen is there, and Jackie Hilly is saying, lovely inspiration, and brilliant. Well, it's a day for inspiration. It is International Women's Day, and if women can't inspire and help each other. I truthfully got inspiration from Sonia today. I should have told her that before I left. Just by what she said, I needed to hear it. And it was a big struggle for me to get there because I had a lot on this morning and I knew I had to come back to be here for 4 o'clock. But I made the effort. She could come from Dublin. I could come from 5 minutes up the road. And I'm so glad I did, because I left with a pep in my step and I know what I have to do now to move to the next level. Okay. Natalie is saying yes, you're quite an inspiration, and thank you for all your positive tips. Natalie Thibert is a beautiful, beautiful Bermuda buddy of mine. Natalie is French Canadian and she is living in Quebec, and she is an incredibly inspirational girl herself. Natalie, it's a joy. You've made my day to know that you're here. So, during lockdown we used to have a competition to see who was the furthest away guest. Well, Natalie, I guess you in Quebec are definitely our furthest away guest today. And look, at you're half Irish because you spent so many years living in Dublin. Trina is saying, hello Anne, happy International Day to you. Great goal. Yes. And Trina is amazing. Trina is one of my fabulous ladies. And last Sunday, she is part of a group with Jerry Hussey, and in the course of this group, Jerry must have said, I'd love to have somebody sing at our event, which happened last Sunday in the National Concert Hall. And Trina said she sat back and waited for somebody else to say, sure, I'll do it. I'll organise it. And she said to herself, sure, I'll sing with you organising it. But nobody stepped in. So she said, you know what? I'll organise it. I heard them sing. They were incredible. And they did all of this offline. Or online. They practiced online. They did all their preparations online. Natalie is a singer. She'd have loved that, tuning in from Canada. But it's amazing. So Trina, you're incredible. What you achieved was incredible. And, I'm sure there were days when you doubted yourself and you thought, what the hell have I taken on? Well, I saw what you did and I saw your performance and I listened to it, and I've taped it, so I'm going to hear it. I've recorded it. I'm going to play it again and put it into the groups, because that's an inspiration for all of you. Honestly, there's nothing any of us can't do if we put our mind to it. It's just that we stumble over ourselves and, the what ifs, the buts, the I'm not good enough, what if I fail? So what if you fail? If you fail, you just get up and try again, and you try in a different way. I was actually speaking to another lady today. Bridie's there. Happy International Women's Day, and you're here on the right time zone, Bridie. That's fantastic. Shirley is saying she's late joining, but I'll listen back later. Happy International Women's Day. Jenny Timoney was there today, and she has got an amazing new company, fitness wear. And she said, Anne, it's taken me failures to get to this stage of having this company that absolutely works. And it does. Don't be afraid of failure. Failure helps us grow. If you never failed in life, you'd never achieve anything. Trina saying, thank you, Anne. Just step out of your comfort zone, girls. I am a great believer in it, because you know what? Once you step out of your comfort zone, once you do that and face your fear, you know what happens? And I know this. I have been there, terrified, maybe going to speak at an event or being interviewed on live television or radio or whatever, and I'm shaken. But I take a deep breath, and a little thing that I do in the days of the lives, now they're all done on the phone and online, but I used to go into the bathroom many a day before I went on to Highland Radio here. I would go into the bathroom and I'd do a little dance, and a little sort of power dance in the bathroom, and look at the mirror and say, you can do this, Anne. And that kind of got my heart rate going a little bit and got my energy up, and I went in and did it. So whatever you have to do, face your fear, because it does disappear. Once you face it, it goes, and it'll never come back, ever, ever, ever. Liz Boyle is saying, happy International Women's Day, Anne. Looking great and such a positive attitude. Keep it up. Somebody else is late, but we'll listen back. Listen, there's going to be a replay anyway. And if you missed something, you can always watch the replay. So I said I didn't write notes, but I have a few headings, because I can go off on a rant and lose things. So we've done the gratitude. We have done the making your bed and your morning ritual. We've done, the power of journaling, which I utterly believe in. I've done the powerful affirmations and the mirror out loud. If you don't believe me, try that. Or say you're nervous about going into something, or you've got a difficult situation. Practice in front of the mirror. It does empower you. I don't know. Straighten your shoulders, let your shoulders down, put your head up. And here's another thing that somebody that I know, Moira Geary, who I have huge respect for, it's one of Moira's tips. If you're out and about and you're feeling down a bit, the way I was yesterday, like that, meh, go out. And I do this when I'm walking into the supermarket, between the car and the supermarket, and it works for me every single time. Put your shoulders back. And even though you've got your mask on or whatever, put your head up, okay? And smile. It's very easy to smile, big smile. Behind your mask, nobody knows, but your eyes will light up. It's very hard to feel bad if you are smiling really, really brightly and you've got your eyes up. Try that. Very hard to feel down. It will actually give you a lift. Another little tip, and I found for speaking on the radio, is if you put on your full makeup and smile. Smile as you're talking. That smile transmits through the waves and people feel that genuine empathy and, friendliness or positivity or whatever you've got inside you. It will come through. Fake it till you make it. Absolutely fake it until you make it. I do believe in that. There's a lot of people have different opinions on it, but yes, you can fake it until you make it. And if you're faking it until you make it, but you're doing the background work, if you're doing your journaling, if you're working on your mindset, if you're having your affirmations and you're repeating themselves to you every single day in front of the mirror, suddenly you're not faking it at all. This is real. This is your reality. I had one girl, and she's not in here, but she probably will pop in later on, and she definitely had this feeling of, I'm just not good enough. I don't deserve this. Other people should get this, but I actually shouldn't. And we worked long and hard on this. She manifested a car, and this lady has specific needs, so she needed a very specific car. She manifested a house because they were thinking of moving house. Now, that house didn't work out, but something much better. And so I always have, if something doesn't work out, I had fallen in love with a house and we didn't get it. I thought we were going to, but we didn't. So this is it here. So this or better is what I would sometimes put on my affirmations. This or better. So if I don't get this, I will get better. And the lady I'm talking about, she definitely got better. What she's doing now is completely remodeling and refiguring her house, and it's going to be amazing. And she hadn't thought about that until she went through this process, and it's all going to happen for her. So lots of good things. Lorraine as well. Loads of people had lots, and Trina, lots of positive things happened because they opened their mind up to receiving these positive things. And positive things, some people like material things. Some people might like to go on a holiday, to go for a walk, to meet up with a friend, just to sit quietly and have a coffee in a quiet space in your house. Somebody else might want to declutter their house. Whatever the thing is for you that you want, call it in and let it happen. Now, the limiting beliefs are definitely, I have to keep an eye on the time for a reason, because this is going up on Instagram later, and if I go over an hour, we can't do that. I've learned that to my cost before. So, but the limiting beliefs are very difficult, and they're there from childhood. The best meaning people in the world, people who love you dearly, created some of these limiting beliefs in your mind. So you need to go back to that and get over it and talk yourself out of it and create your own unlimiting beliefs. Your own belief in your own self-worth, in your capacity, in your strength. Because trust me, none of us know how strong we are until the day you need to be strong. Paula Larkin is saying, you've spurred me on. Well, I am absolutely delighted. And if today I thought about what should I do for International Women's Day. And I thought, you know what? This has been so powerful for me and for so many of the other girls that I wanted to share it. This was a gift. Okay, I can't give you everything in this time, but I'll give you enough to spur you on. And let me tell you, if anybody does want, I do have a group called Finding Your Fabulous. It is a 12-week program. Some people do it in a couple of weeks. Others will do it in 12 weeks or more. You do it at your own pace. It's online, but there's a fantastic community. Like some of the girls are here, Trina and Audrey and Marina and Kavina, Margaret, there's loads of you here, and you know what it's done for you, but you know, it's the power of the group. Like, there's 12 modules, and I do go through all of these things and so much more. I even go through things like how to make your home support you, because there are things that you can do in your home to improve your mental health and give you a boost and make you feel better, regardless of whether you live on a castle on a hill or a tiny little cottage in the middle of the forest. It doesn't matter. You know, your home is your home. It's your safe place, and there are ways that I will show you how to create the perfect home for you, how to declutter your home, how to declutter your mind. I work on the physical, on the health as well, because I've been through a health journey that hasn't been pleasant. Some of you know that, and it's taken me plenty of work to come out of it and feel well. I mean, I'm 61 years old, and you know, I talked about that to Sonia today. She told me she's 53, and we both said age is no barrier. It really isn't, but you do have an accountability to yourself. You must look after yourself. You must look after your health, and you must look after your well-being. And for me, it's makeup. When I was 16, I wore makeup, so I love to wear makeup. I love to wear bright clothes. Only since lockdown have I started using the good perfume every single day. Wafting in it I am all the time. You know, whatever these things that nurture your soul is. And there are health supplements and things that I take that improve my skin, because I'm not a Botox believer. I'm not a plastic surgery believer. I do believe it all comes from within, and you can work on what you have. So there's modules in that. There's modules on money blocks, because as women, an awful lot of us have money blocks, and in business that does stop you moving forward, and there are ways of overcoming that. Gosh, help me out here, girls. What else have we covered? There's just so much. But that's a 12-week program. It's a really, really affordable course if anybody wants to do it. And send me a message. But this day is not about selling the course, because the course will sell itself anyway. Like-minded people will just come. They just find me and I find them. Anna Dimarini said something to me recently, a couple of months ago, and she said, your vibe attracts your tribe, but I think your tribe attracts your vibe as well. All of us in that group, all of us here, we're all like-minded women. We have similarities. White Sage Decluttering is there. That's Anne-Marie Kingston, the declutter guru down in Cork. Anne-Marie was my amazing gift of a guest last Thursday. Her energy is tangible, and yes, another like-minded woman has just popped in. So she would do a lot of mindset work. She works on her beliefs. She has a coach. She does all the right things to make sure that she stays top of her game, and by God she is. Trina is saying we've laughed a lot too, Anne, and helped each other out, but laughter is medicine. Of course we have to laugh. We laugh and we giggle. And one thing that I do when I do the live Zoom calls in that group, I don't record them. And the reason I don't is because we're very open and honest with each other. If we're having a good day or a bad day, it will all come out. My mother had a very dear friend called Teresa, and every Sunday when Teresa's husband went to the pub, Mum used to go to visit her, and she'd come home and I'd say, how's Teresa? Any news? And she'd say, Anne, what's said in the kitchen stays in the kitchen. So that's my same code of ethics here. What's said in the Zoom stays in the Zoom. Nothing is recorded, but obviously there's tons and tons of support in the group as well, and we're all in and out of there all the time, and it's just amazing. And the crazy thing is, I had set it up, I thought, for middle-aged women, because I thought, coming out of lockdown, a lot of us were feeling unstuck. Not unstuck, you are now unstuck, but you were stuck. You were a bit fed up. You maybe had put on weight and your clothes weren't fitting you. Your energy levels were down. You might have been worried or looking after elderly parents. There might have been bereavement or sickness in your life. You might have struggled big time homeschooling your children, or kids starting college but they were still in their bedroom, not meeting up with their friends, a whole social implication. For me, two of my boys, my oldest and my youngest, are far away. I haven't seen Richard for almost 2.5 years, which is inconceivable. So we have all of these things to deal with, and that's why I set up this group, to help us. But I thought middle-aged women, whatever a middle-aged woman is, I think I have a theory now that you're only middle-aged when you feel it. So I am not going to turn middle-aged until I'm 80. So that's I just said that out loud. So we have women in that group from 30 to 70. Yes, most are in the middle, 40, 50, 60. That's where most people are, but it's amazing. But what we do have is a kindred spirit, and it's incredible. And we learn. And the girls, they're very open and honest with each other. And some people share more, and some people are very, private and shy, and that's absolutely fine. This group is like this. I know the people who come in every day, and then other people will send me a direct message and say, I've been watching you for 2 years, but I'm just shy and I watch and I love it all, but I haven't the courage, or I just don't want to be there publicly. And that's absolutely fine. The world is made up of extroverts and introverts, and I think sometimes I'm an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert. I'm not sure which I am, but it doesn't matter. But when you find your tribe, stick with it, because you know yourself. It's just like your girlfriends. A couple of weeks ago I went away with 4 of my best girlfriends, and we laughed and laughed and laughed for the whole time we were away. The best medicine and the best tonic, and nothing is out of bounds to talk about. Absolutely nothing. So be mindful of the stories you tell yourself. If you start telling yourself positive things about yourself, or if you start to I expect something amazing to happen every single day. Honestly, I do. And sometimes I'm blown away by what happens. Out of the blue, something will come and it's just unreal. And I think, jeepers, did that really happen? Did I really have that conversation? Like today, I had a conversation with Sonia Lennon, and I can't talk about it here, but an opportunity has come up for me that's mega. And there's a bit of me concerned about it. I said to her today, gosh, it's a long way from here to Cork. And she said, oh, but you can do a lot of work on the train. And I laughed out loud. And I said, yeah, but there's no train from Donegal to anywhere. But this is something incredible that has happened. And whether I take it up or not, I don't know. That's up to me. But the fact is that it was offered to me. So things are out there for all of us, whatever you're looking for. Maybe you want to change a career. Maybe you want to take up a hobby. Maybe you did something as a child. Maybe you played a musical instrument. Or like Natalie or Trini, you were singers. Well, why not start singing again? And join a singing group and open up a whole new avenue of enjoyment and fulfillment in your life. Because honestly, I'm 61 and I'm expecting the best adventures of my life to happen yet. And I really, really believe that. Catherine is saying so true. Catherine's talking about the group. Actually, some of those girls they said some lovely things in a live I did quite recently. Catherine was one of them. I can't remember what you said. And Lorraine said something fabulous too. In fact, she said it was the best course she ever did. And she said it's there for her forever. And I thought that's brilliant, because Lorraine was nervous coming into it. She had never done anything like this before in her life. She had never journaled, and she went out and bought herself the most beautiful journal and the most beautiful pen. And she does journal quite seriously. And I tell you, it's powerful. It's absolutely powerful. Another thing that's really, really, really important is to learn how to say no. I was the worst people pleaser in the world. I would agree to everything because I didn't want to let anybody down. I didn't want to say no. And maybe I wanted to be popular. As a teenager growing up, I was really awkward. I was actually taller than everybody else starting school. I started boarding school at 12 or 13, and I was taller than everybody else, and I felt so awkward. Well, guess what? The rest of them all grew, and I never did. But I just hated myself, so I think there was a bit of a people pleaser thing going on there. But I have learned how to say no, and learning how to say no is the greatest gift. I've devoted a whole module to the power of saying no. It frees up so much time in your life. Nobody dies. I give you the tips and ways of diplomatically saying no, and you just say no and walk away. It's not open for negotiation. It's not open for discussion. The answer is no, and you just move on. And it frees up so much time, and it stops resentment, because if you say yes to something you don't want to do, what happens? You're exhausted. Your family suffer. Your work might suffer. Most of all, you will suffer. So whether this is saying no to people who drain your energy, or no to something that you know is a bigger commitment that you can commit to at the moment, I'm not saying that you stop doing everything. Absolutely not. Pick and choose and do what you want to do. Catherine, let me see. I'm going to pop this up here and see what Catherine is saying. I know what this is. She said, I think it was like breathing fresh air with like-minded people. That's exactly what it was. That was about the Finding Your Fabulous group, and that's what it is. Breath of fresh air. And you know what? A breath of fresh air is what we all need. Yesterday when I was feeling lousy, and a few of the girls here said to me, will you just get out for a walk? Put on your gear and get out into that fresh air. And the sun was shining. It was bitterly cold. But so what? You dress up. I put on the hat, the scarf, my parka jacket. And I didn't have a long walk, but I came back a different person. So breath of fresh air, just changing up your ritual. We get stagnant, we get stuck, and you just need to do something to get yourself unstuck. I've written here, write it all. Now goal setting is another thing that I do, and I do this daily, and I do it weekly, and I do it monthly, and I would actually review my goals as well. I try to, because when you write a goal down, it almost seems to make it real, and you need to be accountable. And if you can be accountable to somebody else for your goals, so if you have a coach, or if you have a group, or you have somebody who helps you in your life or in your business or whatever, or a good friend, if you're accountable to somebody, it definitely does. I had a really good coach a couple of years ago, and I achieved amazing things with her, and then I stopped. Now she has changed and I have changed. I don't think our fit is right anymore, but I think in school I was probably the girl who wanted the teacher to like me, so I tried very hard, and I did extra homework and I did all of that. I was very boring growing up, but that's who I was. I was a people pleaser, but I did the work. It's a bit like when I was doing that interior design course with Limperts. I decided on day one, and I knew nothing except that I knew this was a really difficult course, and our tutor had said not many people will get a distinction, but don't worry about that. That's just the level it's at. So immediately on day one, I said there were 20 modules, 20 big assignments, and I said I want to get a distinction in every single module and a distinction in my final project. And I did. Because I pushed myself to do it, but I wanted to do it as well. So you can push yourself to do anything. One thing I can't do is swim. So if we ever head off somewhere warm to live for a while, that's one of the things I'm going to make. Even if I have to get one-to-one coaching, and I'll probably need hypnosis and medication and God knows what to get me into the water to try and swim. But that's one thing on my bucket list that I do want to do. And I do have a bucket list, but I have a reverse bucket list as well. And this reverse bucket list is something that's very good for getting your own confidence up and running as well too. Your reverse bucket list is where you write down everything that you have achieved in your life so far. Start when you're 16 and write it down. I did this again quite recently in one of these journals, and I shocked myself, to be honest. The funny thing was, that period a couple of years ago when I wasn't in a good space, do you know that I wasn't able to come up with one thing that I had really achieved that I was happy about in that time, which is interesting. But yeah, reverse bucket list. And again, if you can read your reverse bucket list out in front of the mirror to yourself, that's going to do something amazing to yourself, because this is the truth you're reading. These are things you actually did, that you achieved in your life, that you did all by yourself or with help, but you did them. These are your accomplishments. So knowing them will make you walk a little bit taller. I'm only 5'2", but sometimes things like this will make me put my shoulders back and just take it in, because we're not used as Irish women to say, or as women maybe anywhere, to say I'm good at this, or I'm bad at this. We're very quick to say I'm bad at this, I'm useless at this. But if you're good at something, own it. It's just the truth. It's who you are, and that's what your power is. So I've noticed that we're nearly running out of time. So if anybody wants to ask me a question, pop it here and I will get back to you. Not today, but I will get back to you as soon as I can. If anybody wants to know more about, let me just see, I'm sure I've missed people, I have. If anybody wants to know more about Finding Your Fabulous, please send me a direct message, or even send me a message here and I'll find you and get back to you, because it is so doable, it is so enjoyable, and I've made it very affordable. Unfortunately, it's not going to be like that forever, because I've enrolled in something that's quite fancy and super duper, and it's a big investment. So when Finding Your Fabulous goes up on that platform, and we're sort of 50% there, in fact, if I hadn't been sick in January, it would be there. But for the moment, you can come in as a founding member, and I would love that, absolutely love it. And if it's not for you, even look back at what we talked about here today and pick a few things and do them. Do them for you, not for anybody else. This is time for you, because you are the most important person in your life. If you don't look after you, you can't look after anybody else. So on that note, I am going to go. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for popping in, and for everybody who pops in on the replay. And I know there's loads of you that are coming in who can't be here live. Just send me a little message saying replay, and just watch it as if it was live, and enjoy all the crack. And if you've got a question and you're popping in on the replay, please do ask me as well, because it'd be my pleasure and my privilege to come back to you and share what has worked for me and has worked for the girls as well, because I'd love it to work for you. So on this wonderful International Women's Day 2022, stay safe, my lovely girls, stay fabulous, and I will be back on Thursday with a wonderfully colourful, flamboyant, tonic Taryn DeVere. So until then, Mind yourself and enjoy the rest of International Women's Day.